Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View and welcome to another Flex Catches Up with, I suppose. Oh, mate, do you know what? I kind of feel bad doing this one, but I actually don't at the same time because I'm happy. But we have to bring in my guy, Ryan from Seagulls Podcast. How are you doing, Ryan?
Mate,
Oh,
it's
mate.
good to be on. But yeah, talking about another player leaving again, it seems as though this is a really regular occurrence across every big six channel there is at this point.
Oh, mate, I can only imagine what's going on. It's ridiculous. Um, Listen, do you know what it is? I feel I'm over the moon. We got this player, Ryan. I am. I really, really am over the moon that we got this player. I've wanted him the whole time. Everybody knows here on the channel and outside of it that I've been really big on Man United fans that are going in because he's had this bad season and this means we shouldn't be paying what we're paying for him and he's had a crap season and Milner's benched him and just a whole load of nonsense from my
Yeah,
perspective. So that's enough from me. We are here to talk Carlos Baleba because he is heading to Manchester United. I've seen a couple of clips that you've put up already, but I really wanted to catch up with yourself. The community would really, enjoy it and appreciate it. Carlos Baleba, mate. Where do I start? Discuss.
yeah.
Discuss.
I mean, yeah. I think the thing is that's going to be probably the biggest criticism of any United fan or United creator that I've seen, like publicly anyway. Talking about his season last season, obviously not being the best, as everyone knows, it's not a hidden secret. He wasn't great. He, to be honest, he looked very uninterested. He didn't want to be here, and I think that's kind of the situation that we've had all summer. It's felt inevitable, to be honest, as to when he's going to go rather than if. I don't think the fee is a great reflection of his ability, if I'm honest. I think that in this modern market, when you're seeing Mateus Fernandes for 85 million to Spurs and, Sandro Tonali's going for 100 million, I think if this was a year before, we certainly wouldn't be talking about, potentially £70 million getting Carlos Baleba. He's a top quality player. I need to definitely really reassure you on that. He's a world-class talent. He's someone that, for me, I've seen us with Moises Caicedo and Alexis McAllister in midfield. He is an exceptional talent. He's got so much sort of class on the ball. He's very strong, can drive through midfield, and I think that's a difference that he's probably got. I'd look at more of a Yaya Toure build rather than like a receiving deep playmaker like Moises Caicedo was. It's a very different player to Caicedo, and that's why I kind of wanted to talk about him to United fans, because I'm thinking people will think about Caicedo and think, yeah, obviously a world class player. He's great, one of the best in the league. Completely agree with that, and he was worth that money, but he doesn't have what Baleba has. He doesn't have that ability to maybe shoot from distance and score as regularly as Baleba can. He doesn't have that ability to drive through midfield and create chances and almost look like a bit men against boys, to be honest. He's a top quality player, mate.
All of what you're saying is it's refreshing to hear because when I've watched Carlos Baleba and my assessment of him as obviously somebody who is not as well versed as you, watching him every single game for the last 3 years, that's what I see. And when I look at what Manchester United have been missing, it's that athleticism, it's that ball progression with the ball, it's that dynamism, it's that strength, it's that power. And with the midfield that we've created with Santos and Tielemans, they offer different things which complement each other, but it was missing somebody of the profile of a Carlos Baleba. Do you believe that you just touched there on the price? Because I think some United fans are like, why are we paying so much for him if he's had a bad season, etc.? I don't subscribe to that. I'm with you in terms of look at the market. For me, this is an absolute bargain for a player of his quality. What do you think about, just explain a little bit more about the price that we're getting him for and how unhappy you seem to be your end with this?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Morgan Rogers is 120 million, near enough. I mean, you've effectively got half of Morgan Rogers. I don't think that when you put it down like that, it sounds quite as terrible. I'm really surprised that you're upset. You guys are upset about the fee. To be fair, because I thought that would be probably the
Not
one
everyone,
thing that
but I have seen some
no.
people sort of question that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just find that a bit baffling because I mean, don't get me wrong, I agree he had a bad season and I can't deny that. Like he was not great. It seemed more like he just wasn't interested in playing for the club as opposed to anything else.
So it's more his head
Attitude,
return.
it looked like it. And people will question his attitude rightly and wrongly. I kind of look at it as thinking, I mean, what is he, 21 last
22.
season? Yeah, now he's 22. You think when you're 21 and you're finally linked to a big club, you've been pretty unknown, really, let's say, when he was at Brighton to begin with. He wasn't really used under De Zerbi. He had an unbelievable first season under Hertzler. And then all of a sudden, Sky Sports News are posting £100 million transfer to Manchester United every single day. Your followers are going up through the roof. You're getting comments every day saying about you joining United. It must be pretty overwhelming. And I kind of was in that boat of thinking, yeah, I'm not surprised his head's turned. We're talking about a player at Brighton. He's probably going to be on 3 times his wages that he's been at this club. It's obviously these people are going to want to go there. And I was kind of saying that to Brighton fans, thinking, you cannot be deluded. You have to think, obviously his dream is to not play for Brighton. His dream is to play in the Champions League at a big club. And United are a massive club. You can't deny that. And I think that, yeah, obviously he's going to get his head turned. And I think that last season was more to do with that than anything else. We haven't been blessed with kind of his progression either. So on the pitch, it looked a little bit dead for him anyway, because obviously, as you say, we brought in Milner towards the end of the season and we just didn't use him at all. And a lot of Brighton fans didn't like that. A lot of Brighton fans didn't like that. So
they didn't. They didn't like the fact that he wasn't playing, or they didn't like the fact that his head was turned.
It was a bit of both. I think that originally it was the head was turned thing, and then he did have some awful games. And the awful games were him just not looking interested. And that's probably one thing that you want to really make sure you iron out, I suppose. If in fast forward 2 years, he's world class, and Madrid want him. Is he going to do the same to United? That's the sort of character that you got. But I suppose these players, they're young and they're in the limelight at such a young age. You can't really blame them for having their heads turned. For me, anyway, I don't know, but towards the end of the season when he was out of the side, James Milner was there. Don't get me wrong, Milner picked us up a lot of points just through kind of going back to basics, and we went really traditional.
Top pro,
we went proper traditional. Really not the sort of Brighton you think. But it got us a lot of points on the board, and we were in trouble at that point of the season, so it made sense. But yeah, I don't know. It leaves a weird taste in the sense, like, you wanted to see more from Baleba. It shouldn't have ended like this.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I 100% agree with you, bro, in terms of thinking of what a young man must be going through at that point, and that's why, I jokingly say I never sold my Baleba stocks based on this season. Just doing a little bit of research, which isn't hard to do. You can see he's played 92 times in the Premier League for Brighton, in 3 seasons. I just wanted to ask you a little bit more about the previous 2 seasons, especially that middle season, the season before last, where he really, I felt like, announced himself, where everybody was standing up and going, right, who's this kid? And then, rightly so, Tony Bloom and the guys your end are saying, yeah, if you want him Man United this summer, 100 mil, mate, plus. And everybody thought everyone was crazy, but it was off the back of a very good season. Just how good was he in that particular season, say at his peak at Brighton in these 3 years, and what was he displaying?
Yeah, untouchable, to be honest. It was, as I said earlier, that men against boys comment. I really mean it. I mean, when he was on his A game, no one got near him, and it's like someone that's just completely in a world of his own, that can create opportunities on his own. He's a very good sort of deep receiver as well, so he dropped quite deep, received the ball, but then he would just drive with it. And a lot of players would try and get close to him, and they just couldn't. And it almost seemed like, when you play FIFA and you put it on like a really easy mode and you're thinking, yeah, this is just hilarious, winning 7-0 because I can just run through midfields. Baleba was kind of like that at times, and you just think, how is he just running through these players? How is he getting through, 4 or 5 that are trying to get near him, and he just doesn't get bothered by it? And it kind of, I know I sound a bit mental saying Yaya Toure, because obviously I need to have respect for Toure. He's one of the best players in Premier League history. But that sort of profile of player, that's kind of what I thought of when I saw him. If he adds a little, few more goals to his game, maybe in a team like United, where obviously, as you said earlier, the amount of quality you've got in that midfield all complement each other really well as well. You've got a fantastic player. I can't emphasize enough that sort of driving, because it will take you by surprise. He's really, really surprisingly quick.
Yeah, what's been going around as usual every time we sign a player, the clips start rolling, the highlights start rolling out from this specific game, that specific game. And it almost reminded myself of, because I remember watching him a lot in that season where he was good, especially in those bigger games. I remember seeing him dominate against Chelsea, Liverpool at Anfield, running through people, Man City at your place. Just that literally picking up the ball, half turn, he's sort of getting pressed, drops a shoulder, and he's gone. Literally powering past people like a year 11 versus the year 7s in the playground. Yeah. I really do. I have seen that from him. And what I really do like about him as well is that he isn't just like a set of lungs. He can play. His touch is
Yeah.
clean. He's good off both feet. He's got a decent passing range. Like you say, he's got a good strike. There's so much room for him to develop into, as you're saying, potentially he's a world-class talent, to potentially develop into a world-class player, which is obviously where we're at. We're trying to get the next best things and trying to build a squad that's capable of doing that. And I see a lot of those same things. I'm so excited about this signing. And
Mm.
throughout the summer, even when it was like, oh, we're not getting Marquis, we didn't get Fernandez, there's no Tonali, we couldn't afford Anderson. I'm like, we need Baleba. Like, we
Yeah,
still
I think
need this guy.
this is potentially a better signing, in my opinion. Like I say, I watch. Maybe I've got a bit of Brighton bias towards him, but mate, when you see his shooting ability, it's ridiculous. Honestly, he had one. It didn't go in. It's one of them. Like, you remember it when you were there, but like, no one will ever see this clip because it was like a 3 p.m. game that no one would have watched. I can't remember
Yeah.
who we were playing now. He has a shot from probably about 30 yards, rattles the bar. And it sort of just takes you by surprise as to how much power he gets into them. Honestly, he will surprise you. He really will surprise you. That shooting ability came up against, I think it was West Ham again, really late on. We were 2-1 down with, I think, 5 minutes left of the game. He gets the ball sort of about 30 yards out, 2-2, goal. Absolutely unbelievable. That's where those flips come from. Unbelievable strike as well. And I think that's the sort of thing he can do. You know, he can make opportunities happen on his own when you need him the most. And that's the sign of a superstar for me, someone that's going to step up. That was late on into that season as well. So obviously, I think I want to say he won Young Player of the Season for us that year. I'm trying to remember rightly now. I might have got that wrong, but I'm pretty sure he did. But he probably, in my opinion anyway, probably should have pushed for the full Player of the Season. It went to Van Hecker, another one that's gone. But you know, I think he was unlucky not to get full Player of the Season that season.
Yeah, I hear you, man. What about off the ball, Ryan? Don't get me wrong. We've talked about empowering past people with the ball. You know, his shooting ability is being able to take the ball past people like they're not there. How quickly can he close down space? And in my vision of him, why I wanted him is I think he can cover ground and get after people and stop attacks and really break up play. What's that side of his game like?
Yeah, he's definitely there. I think this is where maybe the Caicedo comparisons edge towards Caicedo again, just because of how good his tackling ability is.
Yes,
but I think 100%. That he's still got that. He's still got that in abundance. He's very good, sort of tracking, covers a lot of distance. And to be fair, a big part of both seasons, to be honest, of the last 2 seasons, he's had to drop into centre back, off the ball, on the ball, and big reason is the pace difference. Van Hecker was really slow, Lewis Dunk's very slow, and we had that problem of Hertzler wanted to play a high line. So Baleba was dropping into defence. He was dropping into sort of that half space in between defence and midfield. And all of a sudden, you had someone that was actually just a left-sided centre-back. And he would play that role very, very well. And to be honest,
in build-up, you mean? As in, like,
build-up, but also he started. He also started at centre-back as well a few times.
Whoa, wait. Hold on. Wait.
He did.
This is why we need to talk to Brighton fans, guys, who watch every game 90 minutes. You're telling me there's been games where he started left centre-back and there's 2 other central midfielders ahead of him?
Yeah, he's done that before. Yeah, because he's capable of both. And as I say, the athleticism, it's that amount of pace that he's got. The only issue I had with him starting centre-back, I had no problem with him defensively, but I was like, you're missing so much. And I think we played him centre-back in one game, and he just kept sprinting forward. He was going forward thinking he's still a midfielder. To me.
I've never seen this. I've never...
Yeah,
obviously,
I think it was a few cup games in there. Right, I mean, obviously we didn't have the depth for it. But he was... After that point, obviously, we realised he could do it. And I think at that point... he covered pretty well. And at times, to be honest, he was having to cover for Van Hecker, because Van Hecker would obviously push up. Dunk was kind of similar, but neither of them had any pace. So Baleba would quite often be the one to get back and make the challenge. But yeah, unfortunately, we just didn't get to see that last season. And it's a shame because it's tainted everyone's memories, but it's also taken probably about half his price off. So it works both ways.
That's incredible. I didn't expect to hear that catching up with you. That Baleba's played left centre back. Lisandro Martinez has got problems. So I'll tell you what, watch out, Lisandro Martinez. Baleba's coming for your position. I did want to ask, listen, I know you're across your football and I know you're well versed on everything in the Premier League, especially the big clubs. As you look at Man United now with the players that we've got, how do you think he complements someone like Santos, someone like Tielemans, Bruno Fernandes? Because you're saying about, obviously, his shooting is this, that, and the other. At a team like Man United, where we've got so much quality in the front lines, how do you see his role being in its strongest form? Is it He's the guy you want to get about the pitch and make sure you get the ball quickly to people like Bruno
Mm.
Tillemans and they make things happen. So we might not see that side of him, of the shooting, of the getting on the end of things. Is it more of a take the ball and bring the ball through the thirds? How do you think he complements our team, Man United?
He's definitely the ball progressor. I think is his absolute best attribute. As I said earlier, like that burst through midfield is ridiculous. And I think, as you say, Tielemans a fantastic signing. By that, I think Andres Santos a good signing in the future. But Tielemans adds that sort of ready experience now, obviously with the amount of trophies he's won as well for Leicester and Villa. But I think that he's got that ability to just drive. And I think that, obviously you want someone to break up the play. He's capable of that as well. I wouldn't obviously play him too far up because you've got Bruno Fernandes, who's a world-class creator himself. So I think it probably frees up Fernandes a little bit more, probably less running for him to do. You've obviously now got a bit more of a versatile midfield, a lot of players that can play, that complement each other, as you said rightly. But I think that, box to box / anchor / driving forward. He's that sort of player. He'll cover 2 or 3 positions at once. And that's, it's the legs, the energy that you probably need, that dynamism that you probably need. That, as you say, I don't think I've seen United sign a player like him for a long time.
No,
Probably
we
Pogba
haven't had
was the
this
last time.
100%, mate. And, obviously Pogba can do things that many couldn't, like with the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
He's
Player,
exceptional. Yeah, but in terms of an engine and leaving sort of people in the dust, yeah, we haven't signed that. So we haven't signed that sort of profile. Obviously, Ugarte is not that. Casemiro is not that. I can't even think of the different central midfielders we've had since then. Probably that, because Matic then left, and then it was sort of Fred McTominay. McTominay, to be fair, has got a bit of an engine. He's got some lungs, but we didn't get the best out of him because he obviously needs to be playing further forward. He's never a pivot man. So absolutely, since Pogba, we haven't bought a profile similar to that. And I'm not saying Baleba can do the things on the ball that Pogba can do, because I don't believe that. But in terms of athleticism. And lastly, Ryan, just want to talk about his durability and reliability. We've had a lot of injury problems at Man United in various different positions. Central midfield is one of them. Centre-back is one of them. But, he's got this ankle injury now, which we know is not feared to be as bad as first feared. How's his reliability been? Like, is he always available? Is he not getting big injury problems, etc., etc.?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say he's always available after last season, but he
last
is.
Season after the bad season.
Yeah, he normally has been. Yeah, he's always been all right. He's not normally the injury guy. I don't know how bad that injury was. I think it was to his ankle, I want to say.
It was ankle ligament
the last
damage,
I was told he had a boot on, and then that was about it. And then I think since then I've just been told he doesn't want to train. So I don't think Baleba's been in the plans at all. So no one's seen Carlos for about 3 months. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, very, very fine. I would be surprised if it's an issue, but you never know with ankles. They're always, I'll probably end up saying this to a Liverpool fan later about Minte. He's gone surgery for his ankle, and I'm thinking they're tough on these players. These players that rely a lot on their physicality and their athleticism, quick bursts of pace. Ankles can be a problem, but I hope for his sake, and certainly for United fans' sake, it's not.
Well, weirdly, I'm just looking at his injury history here, just on Transfer Market at a quick glance. He's literally, it says he's missed 1 game through injury.
Yeah,
in the
he's fine.
24-25 season.
Yeah.
So last season was just bad form, not injury. He's just on the bench and getting hooked at half time and stuff like that.
I do think we also dealt with that really badly. Like I don't think you should be hooking players at half time, before half time. We went to Newcastle away and took him off before half time. Big ground, not a place you want to go.
You know what I mean? They're sort of trying to make an example of him a little bit.
Make an example of him, but also I don't want to sound like I'm being anti-club, because I don't want to be like that. But sometimes you kind of think, if you're taking a player off in a situation like St James's Park, let's say a tough place to go, big ground, a lot of people obviously going to cheer you obviously if you go off at that sort of stadium. It can't do you any good for confidence at 22 years old when you're already linked, your head's been turned a lot. And before the season started, they're all saying, "Oh, we need the fans to get behind Carlos because he's going through a lot off the pitch."
True.
And I think I don't want to sound really sensitive here, but his mum died as well before he came to the club.
Absolutely,
so he's been through quite a lot in the last couple of years. I don't know. To me, it just felt a little bit insensitive. And I don't want to just say it's all the club's fault, because obviously he's refused to train and that's not great. But I don't know. I just feel that's a bit much. For me, I don't know. That's an outside looking in, but it just feels a bit...
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. And this is what I mean. Like I say we, but some of the United fans who have been questioning sort of how bad the season was and really going for him and saying Milner's benching him and just some real derogatory things. Which, listen, he had a bad season. I think I need to
Yeah.
clarify that. You've
Yeah.
clarified that he was poor. I think he only completed 90 minutes 3 times in the whole season. So
Really? I didn't even know it
absolutely.
was that little. Flipping it.
Yeah, exactly. And you've already alluded to sort of, getting taken off before halftime, Newcastle. So it has been. I want to hold my hands. I know that because people think I'm just glazing him because I really wanted him and I won't see the negatives. He has absolutely had a bad season, but it is important, like you said, Ryan. I'm really happy that you brought that to the forefront because you don't know what's going on the other side, and getting
Yeah.
treated like that might not have helped. It might have been the catalyst for him to not be able to get going. Now he's at the club, no disrespect, that he really wanted to go to from the year before. Big move.
Yeah.
Needs to get himself fit, hunger, competition for places, playing in the Champions League at Man United. Hopefully now we start seeing him lock in because I believe that he's got all the tools. So yeah.
Mm.
Ryan, thank you so much, man. I know it was short notice.
It's all
At
right.
the time of recording, I've got a game in about 40 minutes, minus Carlos Baleba because he still hasn't officially signed yet. But I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us, mate.
That's all good. No, I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, I'll be definitely watching United this season with the amount of transfers you've made. I put you in my top 2 for predictions if you sign Baleba. So I think you may need a little bit more up front, but
yeah.
I'm looking at the next best alternative to Arsenal, and I don't think there is a clear-cut one. So I think if anyone's going to take it,
wow.
I quite like the United midfield, but I don't know. We'll see. The defense maybe is a little bit suspect.
The defense is where we're probably struggling now. We've rebuilt the midfield, but I like the optimism. I didn't have us as high as that, but I'll take it. I'll take that.
We'll see.
Guys, if you don't know where Ryan is, it's right there. You can see it. Talk Seagulls right there. The link will be in the video description below. Make sure you're following him. And following Brighton's journey as well, and giving his channel a subscribe, and make sure you're liking the content as well and the socials as well. Ryan, like I said, massive pleasure. Thank you for finally coming to the table and giving us a reasonable price for Carlos Baleba against your will. But we will take him, we will look after him. We're really excited to have him. Most of us are anyway.
Nice one.
Thank you, mate.
Cheers,
Take
mate.
care.
Thank
All
you.
right, see you later. All right, bro. Bye-bye.